In today's video, I'm going to be ranking the top 12 college football playoff contenders for the 2026 season. This is going to be an exciting video. A lot of people, I know everyone has their favorite team, different opinions on their team. People are going to want their team higher, and they're going to want their team on the list, honestly, because some teams aren't going to make this top 12 list. Doesn't mean your team's bad. It doesn't mean it won't change for me as we get close to this. It's a long off season. We have a long way to go. But before we get into the rankings, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. This helps out this channel a ton, get in the algorithm so you don't miss any more videos, because I'm going to drop a ton of videos just like this one. But let's get into it. Let's start at number 12. I have the Ole Miss Rebels. Ole Miss had an incredible 2025 season, a chaotic one. Lane Kiffin obviously leaving the LSU in a move that really made a lot of people upset. Pete Golding takes over and does a tremendous job in the college football playoff, gets them really close to a national championship appearance, really a few plays away. If they had more time, they could have been the national championship game. I would actually say if they had 10 more seconds, they would be. That's how close they were to it. And they get Trinidad Shambles back, who is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Just a guy that came from Ferris State, just came on scene and just lit up everyone in the SEC. He's a fantastic player. They get Lacey also back, one of the best running backs in college football. So that quarterback running back duo is going to be the same. They do have a new OC, so we'll see how that goes. And first year with Pete Golding. Let's see if Ole Miss can replicate what they did from the 2025 season. At number 11, I have Michigan. This is a really interesting team, and I thought about a bunch of different teams for right here. I think Michigan makes my top 12 barely, just because I'm a believer in Bryce Underwood, and I'm also a believer in Kyle Whittingham and getting results early. I think with Bryce Underwood, I think he could put him in a system that really benefits him and his strengths. And I think Bryce Underwood just gets better from what he was as a true freshman. In reality, I don't think he should have been starting as a true freshman, but Michigan had to do what they had to do with the NIL that they paid him. They had to start him. But I could see this team as a 10-2 playoff team and making the 9, 10, 8 spot, whatever, or the 7th spot. It depends, in that range. I feel like Michigan could do that. It could also kind of be what they were last year at 9-3. But I have pretty good expectations that Kyle Whittingham's going to have a good football team in 2026. I just think he's that good of a coach. A little bit of a downfall for this team. Indiana. Kirk Cignetti, can't speak enough about him. He's one of the best coaches in our sport. And Indiana, as a program, just rolling. And I think they're going to continue rolling. I think they're going to make the college football playoff in 26. But I don't think they're going to be a top seed. I could see them being kind of like Michigan, fighting for that 7th, 8th, maybe 6th spot. Like they could be 11-1 team, 10-2 team. I think Hoover, that they replace Mendoza with, I think Hoover's really good. I expect them just to be what Indiana was this year, just a downgraded version. They lose a lot of talent. So this is kind of a safe pick. I wouldn't be surprised if they're as good. This Kirk Cignetti, he beat all the odds this year. So I don't put anything past him. Number 9 is Texas A&M. Marcel Reed coming back is huge. That's a big get. I know Aggie fans, there's been some up and downs with him, but getting an experienced guy, I think he could take another leap. Obviously, you lose your offensive coordinator in Colin Klein to Kansas State as their head coach now. That kind of sucks because I think he was a great fit for Marcel Reed, and they have to replace him. And the next guy has to do a great job. Elko's defense is always going to be good. I think they're always going to have NFL guys. He's just that good of a defensive mind. And I just think the biggest question is at receiver, if they can continue to be good there. I could see them being the same kind of team that they were, a playoff team, and potentially winning a game or two in the college football playoff, depending on their route in the playoff, who they're playing. One may surprise people. I have Oklahoma at 8. So kind of what they were last year. I believe they got the 8th seed in the college football playoff in 2025. But I like what OU did in the portal. I think they addressed the needs that they needed to. And they fixed the tight end position. They hired some new position coaches that they needed to replace for a while. Offensive line is a little bit better. They got some nice pieces there. And they have some young players there, too, that need to develop and be the players that they expect them to be. That'll be huge for them. In the wide receiver room, I like Parker Livingstone, Trail Harris a lot. Also, I think that wide receiver room is going to be a big upgrade for them in 26. I like Oklahoma here, and that defense is still going to be great under Venables. I have no doubts about that. Texas Tech. I expect Tech to be dominant in the Big 12 for years to come. With that money, that NIL, no other team in the Big 12 could compete with them NIL and resources-wise. And I think that's a huge advantage to them in the Big 12. I think they should win the Big 12 every single year. Like, I have that expectation for them. Their portal additions were great. Their recruiting class was pretty good. So I expect them to be what they were this year, maybe even a little bit better version. Brandon Sorsby, we'll see what he is as a quarterback. Can he be better than Morton was last year? I think there's some questions in that, but if Sorsby can be an upgrade, I think they could be even better and just really dominate that conference and win another conference championship. So, number 6, I have Notre Dame. I feel like Notre Dame's one of the safest picks in the country for the college football playoff contender list. I think they're always going to be a 11-1, 12-0 potential team. And I like C.J. Card, their quarterback. I think he's going to be I think he is one of the most underrated players, but I think he's going to be one of the better quarterbacks in the country next year. And I think he could be a guy that starts to get big draft buzz. But I think Notre Dame is fantastic what they're returning. I know they lose Love, but I think their defense is going to be even better. O-line's going to be better. I like Notre Dame to make the college football playoff next year. Texas at number 5. Cam Coleman is a huge piece for them. We all know that. Cam Coleman is a great football player, the best portal player in the class. They landed him in a big battle between A&M and Alabama and Texas Tech. So it's a huge gift for them. And if Arch can link up with him, and that's my next point, Arch has to take another step. He has to be a Heisman type of guy if Texas wants to win a national championship. He looked good at the end of the last season. He has to add that momentum and get even better in 2026. That's what I'm looking for if he wants to be the guy that we expect him to be. I think they're a very interesting team. I think they could be a team that is really good, or they could kind of not live up to expectations of what they're supposed to be. So it'll be interesting to see. They have question marks, of course. Offensive line, I still think is a little bit questionable. Defense, they lose some pieces, but I think they'll replace guys fairly easily. I expect that group to be really good, honestly. But they're going to be a team that I'm really interested to follow, because I think if it all connects well, it could be a really special season for the Longhorns. Number 4, Miami. A team that was a runner-up for the national championship, went on a great run. Carson Beck leaving. But they got a guy named Darius Mensah, and he's a great quarterback. I honestly think in the NFL he could have been a kind of a steal pick in like the 3rd or 4th round, but he decided not to go to the NFL and not stay at Duke and go to Miami. And I think this guy has great potential to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country, especially with the talent, Tony, that Miami has and the running backs they have. I expect Miami to run the ACC next year and win a conference championship and get into the playoff. I feel like they're a pretty safe bet as well. They've replaced a lot of guys. We know that, but I just feel like their talent and what Mario Cristobal's building, I feel like it will get them to the college football playoff. Number 3 is Oregon. Now, Oregon has kind of made me mad over the past few seasons because I feel like they should go farther in the college football playoff than they have. But they lost to Ohio State and then Indiana, 2 really good teams. But I feel like this is the year for Oregon. I think the narratives are really going to start being created if Dan Lanning can't win. I think this is going to be his best team. Dante Moore returning, They have a lot of players returning. Defensively, you know they're going to be really good. Dan Lanning's a good defensive coach. That side of the ball will be taken care of. But they do replace Will Stein. We'll see how that goes. And Dante Moore, I think he's one of the best quarterbacks. I think he's going to be the number 2 quarterback next year for NFL draft experts when they're in the season. And he has to perform and he has to do well, and I think he will. I think he'll be the guy to really showcase. I know he's going to be on top of all the Heisman boards. I was shocked that he was returning to Oregon. This has to be Dan Lanning's year to go on a big-time run in the college football playoff. Number 2, I have Georgia. I feel like Georgia's always a safe bet because I think Kirby Smart is the best coach in the sport. Kirby, I know he has the off-the-field stuff that his players do, but culture-wise on the football field, he sets the tone in an amazing way. He knows how to get the best of his football teams. I feel like it was his best coaching job last season. The close games that they won, the battles that they were in, to do what they did was pretty incredible. Obviously, losing to Ole Miss in a close football game, it's tough. But I think Kirby Smart, this is going to be a team that was really young last year that he's returning a lot of players, including their quarterback. They return a lot of their wide receivers, running backs. I think Georgia is going to be really good. And honestly, I'm flip-flopping, and I think I might end up with Georgia being the favorite over Ohio State, who, spoiler alert, is number 1 for me. Number 1, Ohio State. I have them as the favorite. And I think the biggest reason why is because they're returning Julian Sain and Jeremiah Smith. Those 2 dudes, and Julian Sain's a young player, so you could say maybe he doesn't have as good a season as he did as a freshman, young player, first year in college football. But I just can't think what Jeremiah Smith's going to be like next year. He's going to be so good because he was so good last year. He got even better from his freshman year. I think this is going to be a monster season. I don't think there's no guarding him, but another year in college football, another off season for him. It's going to be incredible to watch to me. And I just don't think you can rule them out of being the favorite for the national championship to me. And they play a hard schedule. Like, they play Oregon, Texas. They play Indiana also. They play USC. Like, all those teams could beat them on any given Saturday. But I just think Ohio State is in a position to where if they go out in that schedule and go 10-2, make it to the Big Ten championship game, I think, and they win that game, then they're still in a position to go on a crazy run the college football playoff and win a national championship. I think this could be a special year, and I think this could be Ryan Day's best coaching job if he wins one this year. Ohio State had the best roster when he won his first one, and they have a crazy roster this year. But what I'm saying is, like, with this schedule, what he's going to have to go through, and then you add on to the college football playoff, it could be a really incredible coaching job by him if he could pull off a national championship. But I kind of flip-flop between Georgia and Ohio State. Like, I'm kind of leaning more Georgia now that I'm talking about it, but I think those 2 are your 2 close favorites to me. I think those are the 2 teams that I expect to win the national championship in 2026. I know a lot of you guys are going to disagree, especially if your favorite teams in this video are not in the video. But let me know what your guys' thoughts and opinions are, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.